Hello everyone, welcome back to Factional Fight Plays Wurm Online. My name's Brian, that's my brother Adam, and we are back with another Labyrinth round. How are you doing, Adam?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
We were away last week, but that's okay. We're back and we're gonna build our first building. How's that?
I'm excited.
I'm excited to build our first building. Thank you for joining us on Twitch and on our YouTube channel afterwards, and on the forums, everybody. We are going to build this first building, and we're going to talk about a whole number of things, like problems we've been having with the labyrinth, and all sorts of topics have been going on the forums the last few weeks. We're going to delve right into them. So let's get started on Factional Fight Plays Wurm Online. Alright, so we're back. And I don't know, what's been going on with you for the last few weeks, Adam?
I don't know, quite a bit of things. Haven't been spending enough time in the labyrinth, I don't think, but you know, I think we're gonna get back to
dealing with real world problems, like you know, worm real world problems. Is it weird that the labyrinth is like a, what would you call it? Like a vacation to the actual game that you're playing.
Yeah, I know. It is like a vacation.
A game vacation for a game that you're playing to get away from your real life. I don't know exactly, but it's anyway. But
I get
yeah,
what you're saying, yeah.
So you went and you did a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know, back at Winter's Night, I guess.
I've been working a little bit on Winter's Night, specifically priestly things.
Priestly things.
Yeah, getting my priests farming up and
yeah,
working on doing, like, I was looking at a forum thread regarding spell casting and enchanting, and I thought I'd contribute a little bit to that and just try sort of figure out a few things about whether or not there's been tweaks to the spell casting. So I'm doing a little bit of that stuff. Yeah. That's what I enjoy.
That's what he enjoys. That's for sure. I think anyone who watches these videos will know that's exactly what you enjoy. That's exactly what you enjoy. Anyway, hello everyone in the chat today. Let's see. Names are Dr. Sloth 47, Validate 13, and J Pro Cash has said stuff. Hello everyone. We are going to build our first building, and the building that we've decided to build is the one right at the entrance. We're basically building the entrance of the labyrinth this time. And we didn't call it Entrance of the Labyrinth, the episode, because we already have an episode called The Entrance to the Labyrinth. So even since that episode,
I guess we should have planned that one ahead.
What have we been doing? We can't really see because it's really dark, because of course we hit the record button and it's nighttime. But
be consistent that way.
There are different things over here. We planted.
Yeah, so I have been doing quite a few things around.
Fir trees here.
Yeah, it's hard to see the things that I've been doing. Oh, there's a cart over there. Yeah, I extended our fir tree forest. Did a whole bunch of picking and planting. I also finished our fixing the archway.
We also have an aged hen and a pig joining us tonight.
Yeah.
All right.
Last episode we fixed the archway, and over the course of the last week I moved the dirt wall forward.
That's right.
To match. I've been opening up a ton of mine entrances and sort of mining out a few.
Let's see if anybody can see this. It's really hard to see.
What's that?
This, because it's really dark, but they're all over the place.
What are we
Mostly
looking
the
for?
ones that the mine entrances. It's mostly the ones that we've actually done. But we are going to concentrate on this area here. And we've come up with just probably more problems than like what we thought that we were going to have. Like, I know initially we said that we were going to have a lot of problems, that there'll be stuff that's creeping up and there's going to be issues that we're going to have, but you can see with the last episode, I think the last episode we were opening up mines and we even ran into a few problems then, or maybe it was the episode before that. I can't remember. Anyway, the episode where we were opening up mines, mining the labyrinth.
Yeah.
And we ran into a number of issues, and we had that whole thing where we were opening up like a, what was it called? A mine that had equal slopes on both ends.
Right.
Which way would it open? Or
it didn't know which way to open, so it opened in two ways. Although,
so here you go. Here is one, right here. See how it's like it's opening this way.
Let's see if I can get my light on it. Yeah.
It's opening this way, but at the same time, it's also opening this way. Does that make sense?
Now, one of the viewers last episode told us that if we mined an extra tile forward, it will sort of fix itself or keep it open or whatever. Well, I did, and it didn't. It reverted like a server reset happened.
It did, and it didn't at the same time. So you see that 3 of the points are just up against the cave, the rock.
Yeah, it's like messed up.
And only 1 point is down. But we still managed to make an entrance.
And I made an extra, like an extra thing, and some messed up thing happened, and I guess...
Whoa, Colin.
Yeah, I don't know. The problem with this one is that we'll want to go this way, towards this iron vein.
Oh, we will?
I think so. Yeah, it's like triple whammy.
Well, luckily, I'm the one that... So we have a crazy weird mine entrance that's we can't move forward with because a giant iron vein with, let's find out. You should start to prospect for another vein of this ore. What does that mean again? Anybody know before I have to look it up on Wurmpedia?
I think I'm gonna have to look it up.
1,000. My guess is 1,000 to 3,000.
Wurmpedia.
Iron that still needs to be mined out.
Prospect. Ding. Yeah, 1,000 to 3,000. So that's actually not so bad. That could have been way worse.
Oh, and hello, Zentil, who's putting down all light tokens. Oh, thank God. Thank you for coming. We can see.
Nice.
So what did you say? 1,000 to 5?
Yeah, 1,000 to 3,000.
Yeah. Did I say that? I can't remember now. But another problem with this mine entrance is that we can enter and exit this way, but we can't enter and exit this way. We get stuck going forward. Can't make it out.
I don't know why that is.
You can do it.
It's like the mine is designed to only let you out one way, even though it looks like it should let you out the other way. Now, when I mined it so that it opened this way. Like that, and then
okay, you figured out how to do that. You actually have to physically stand in that direction.
Yeah, if you stand right where I'm standing, if you can see, and you mine that direction, then it should open that way. Even though it doesn't know which way to open, it seems to open the way that you're facing it. But then this weird thing happens, and then for some reason, it's not that way anymore. It's the other way that you are allowed to get out.
Yeah.
Messed up. It's just messed up.
Well, anyway, it sort of works. And luckily we're able to figure out what we want to do with it. And the reason why we opened it up like this, and again, is because when we were doing this on the episode, we found out that this whole tile border is flat. And this whole tile, so they're both flat. And it means that we can actually build a house right next to it if we do the math properly. And since Adam's the math guy, I'm gonna leave all that work for him.
Well, the other thing that we discussed is that
because I'm lazy.
Because this allows us out this way, we can put the house right there, and if we put a door here, then we can sort of get in and out of that mine. I think that's fine. Okay, so we got some flat tiles. I noticed for some reason some of these have become not flat anymore. Not flat. I don't know why.
Do you have concrete?
They were flat before, and now they are not. Now, one condition for a house to be built is that it has to be built on.
Has to be built on dirt, right?
On dirt, yeah. It has to be built.
Can't be dirt built on rock.
Yeah. Now, our goal is to have 3 tiles. These 3 tiles here. I don't know if you can see me. These 3 tiles here, we want them to be house.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, and then these 5 tiles to be house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
We'll need one concrete.
Now,
do you have that?
I think we have a bunch of concrete in case we need it.
All right, so we need 1 here, I believe.
And where are you?
Where I'm standing.
Now, the other thing is that we don't want the rock to be completely flat, because we need to drop dirt.
Yeah, but then the middle ones need to be not flat. And if I can show this, let me see if I can figure this out here. I might not be able to figure this out.
Now, do you see how this tile border here that I'm standing on is going sloping down? And then it comes back up?
Oh, I see.
If we drop a dirt right on this corner here, it will flatten the 4 tiles out.
Except for this one here.
Except for something got messed up somewhere along the way.
So let me see if I can load this to show everyone what we're talking about here.
Let me just try. Yeah, okay, you load that, and I'm gonna grab a dirt and see how that goes. Let's see here.
All right.
I dropped 1 dirt.
Can I do this? Window capture? There we go. Okay, so here is deed planner. And what's better, 3D view? 3D view. Okay.
Yeah, now...
So what exactly are we talking about? So we're talking about right here.
That house in the front
we have this house right here in the front. We're going to build this house today. But it all needs to be flat. It needs to come out on a flat surface. Okay. I don't know if this makes any sense. Here's a shot of it in 2D view. It's right here. So this part here and this part here needs to be on flat surface somehow. So we'll see.
Okay, now
disable that?
I do see that there is one corner that needs to be mined down once, right? Because if I drop this dirt, it flattens out 3 of the 4 tiles. Now this one here actually doesn't need to be. This one here, it won't have a house on it.
Is that right?
I don't know. Like, I mean, only these 3 should have houses. These 3. And I think
you're right.
This one here that I'm standing on, if I'm not mistaken, let me just double check. This one that I'm standing on here is going to be another mine that we haven't opened yet. that right? No, that's not right.
That can't be right.
Where is it? It's
Must be this one.
It's this one. This one here.
Yeah, so this also can't be touching or can't have dirt over it.
Now, okay, here's my thoughts. Okay, if you're... I feel as though because of this iron vein, there's a problem. We could potentially go around that iron vein by 1, which would have to move that mine entrance over 1. I don't know how you feel about changing that plan. Yeah, alternative is we can stick with the plan and just mine out that iron. I don't know, what do you think?
I think a few thousand is okay.
No problem. Okay, so we'll stick with mining out the iron. So then we can open up. We'll have to open up this tile here. I would feel safer if we opened up that tile before we.
Right now? Okay.
I mean, before we planned the building. So we're gonna need to dig that dirt up. Shouldn't take too long.
Do you have to dig that dirt up?
Okay, and we just need to make sure that this is. So we want it to go in this way. We're just going to surface mine down a bit.
No. You're doing it wrong. Stop.
I'm doing it wrong.
Yep.
See?
You want it to open up. Don't you want it to open up this way?
I wanted to open up facing the east, according to the plans I'm looking at.
All right, let me double check the plans here. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Now that we've established that I'm right, we shall proceed.
You'll never let me leave. Oh, man.
It doesn't have to be that much, just like a few. Don't think it should take that long. Let's see here. I'm going to pull out my fast pick for this.
The fast pick is coming out. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I wish I had a fast pick. I'm going to need to refresh myself. Okay. How far does it need to go, you feel? 2?
Couple. Let's see. The other side needs a few. Let's do it to 3, and then you do that side.
So
I'll do this side, 'cause this side has to go.
Wait,
1.
no, you can bring that down, right?
Yeah. This is fine. This is the corner that is just off the house, like by a tile.
You're right. You will get your side done before I get my one.
I only need 1 more. Okay, there we go. Get it?
Nope.
No, thank you, Validate. That was awesome. I think I think we need that around every week. I really thought. I really think that we need to get lamps or whatever around, but
we
haven't
do.
gotten around to it.
Gotta build our lamps up.
Okay,
It's
well,
always the last thing you think about.
Yeah, I know. All sorts of decorative things, but I think it makes sense.
All right, we are good to go. So while we are opening up this entrance, so we are opening this entrance up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so while we're opening up this entrance, what other problems have we come across doing this labyrinth so far?
I mean, there's a ton of veins in the way.
Yeah, there's a lot more veins than we probably thought there would be. And a lot of them
there's
have a
2
lot.
mines that we can't open because there's veins right on the mine entrance.
That's the worst.
Yeah. So we gotta make the build, like, mine out the mine and mine it from the other side. Essentially.
Yeah. I think that's gonna take the most time, and the problem is because we can't open up the mines, we can't seem to start the walls because we might run into a lot of problems. So what we want to do is start building the walls sort of around those problematic areas, That's what we're
Yeah.
gonna have to start doing in the next week, and that's what we're gonna do after we start the entrance. I'm not sure how far we're gonna be able to go. I don't think we're gonna be able to build this house until, because we'll probably run into problems.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna think. For example, do we have any planks or nails?
Do we need planks and nails?
Is there any way to build a second level without building openings yet?
Right, we do have planks and nails, so we should be fine.
So we should be fine.
Is it one? Is it one nail per opening, or is it more than one nail?
It's one nail,
One nail.
I think. Yeah.
We should be fine.
And 5 planks. Well, while we are opening this and starting all the stuff that we need,
A lit light token disturbs your operation. Interesting.
oh, let's pick it up.
Take it. Funny.
That's okay. It's worth it. There you go.
Okay, so I'll drop the light token back down.
So
There we
let's
go, okay.
look at.
That should be fine. No no veins in the way on that one. Okay.
Okay, so let's drop the dirt in the correct spots and hope that we can plan this building all right.
Okay, so there's one dirt. That makes these flat, right? The correct one's flat.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep. Okay, good. Now I'm gonna am I safe surface mining this one down?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. So now I had that all surface mined, I had the dirt down, and then something made me rethink it, so I put some concrete down.
Okay, you're good.
But now that I have you here with me to double check my work.
What is the thing that's wrong? The thing that's wrong is this tile here.
Ah, shoot. So we're gonna need to dig that back up.
You're gonna have to lower this tile, I think, as well. One.
This corner here.
Yeah.
You know what? I could have. Oh no, I couldn't have. So I need a dirt here.
Mm-hmm.
I need one more dirt. Right here, and that should be good, right?
All right. So let's see if I can plan this building the exact way that we want. So we're wanting. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh is right. Uh-oh.
What did we
Okay.
miss?
So there's one tile that needs to be surface mined over there. Corner.
Oh,
No
I
problem.
see. Okay, let me get rid of this.
Gotta move the house.
Yeah. Remove building plan.
You might have to remove more than that. Okay, yeah. So that I can
Good
get
enough.
at this dirt here. And this corner needs
We're
to go
not
down
very
by
good
one.
at this. This is what we've learned today. We are not very good at planning.
No. Great thing about this game is you can always fix it. Like if, you do it one way, you don't like it, you can always fix it.
Unless it's marsh.
Or tar. Or clay. Oh, goodness,
Let's list
clay has
everything
cost me
that
so
we
much grief.
can't do. Yeah, so while we are doing this, I think we're almost ready
Mhm.
to discuss something that happened this week. Over the last week, I haven't had much time to play. I think you just went down one. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
All right. Dirt it up.
Okay.
Let's see. And we were I think we came on because I needed to get my character perfect. I needed to get my character to Winter's Night. And it was been a week or something. I can't remember why I need to get my character there. Okay, I think we're good to go. So based on the plans, we are going to have a bunch of walls on the first level, and then the middle one would be that portcullis. Portcullis, is it even there?
Ah, which we're gonna need some stuff for that we don't have ready.
But at least we can start it.
Portcullis, yeah. What do we need? We need
Did you have
a small wheel,
bricks? All right, some bricks is good.
fence bar, some cordage rope. Yikes.
Let's see what I need. So I need some mortar, and we've dumped 40 mortar batches. And we're going to, I'm going to start this up, all right?
Okay.
We're building, oh my god. You know what I don't have?
Oh, yeah.
The tool.
What tool?
Do I have the tool to make wooden walls? I must have it somewhere. Look at my inventory.
You mean stone walls?
Trowel, there it is.
Yeah.
I have a trowel. I knew it was somewhere. It's been a long
have
time
a
since
trowel?
I made a wall. You can
House,
see.
yeah, I know.
Plain stone wall, right? Plain stone wall.
I think you have windows there, no?
I don't think so.
Oh, plain. I see the plain. Okay, in the corner is plain. Then, yeah, okay, I see it.
Alright. Plain stone wall is up there, underneath them. Alright, then this one is plain stone. What is it called? The skinny wall. The skinny window.
The plain stone narrow window.
Wow, I'm completely missing it. My eyesight is... There it is. It's narrow plain stone window.
Okay.
That was
Let's
odd.
start.
Okay.
I'll start planning on the other side. Let's see.
So anyway, there's no way to do this with a hotkey yet, is there? Is there anybody
I don't
know
think
of
so.
that? I have to,
Yeah, is there a way to do these with a hotkey?
am I doing this over and over again? Still? Alright. Well, it's been a while here.
There's the crafting window.
Can I add this to the crafting window?
Absolutely.
Wait, so I can add one mortar and then just...
Put your trowel into the crafting window.
Oh,
and
I
then
see.
right click the wall segment.
There we go.
So what are we doing? Plain stone wall over here. Okay, yeah.
I think. Let me see. I queue up 6. I need bricks. All right.
I am notorious for messing this process up. I think I've done it a bunch of times on
I guess this is
video.
okay. I mean, obviously, my issue with all this is that I'm now looking at a window and not the actual wall.
Mm-hmm.
But
You're talking about the
benefit,
crafting window.
yeah, is that I just have to click once, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Is a benefit.
Okay, so there was an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, all of our horses got stolen. while we were here at the Labyrinth. I don't know. We weren't thinking. We have no idea what happened. It was our cart was on the Labyrinth. I guess we were working, and then one day somebody took all the horses somehow.
No, I think we just got lazy. Part of me thinks that, like, we checked our wagon and the wagon was unlocked. Well, for some reason, I feel as though it did get a lock, but like looking at it now, it looks as if we sort of forgot to lock that one. Doesn't seem right, but
or the lock just disappeared,
or the lock disappeared, or I don't know, whatever. Something happened. The wagon has no lock.
And all the horses had all of our gear on it. This is the problem.
Yeah. This was the wagon that had.
We don't exactly have that many horses.
Yeah, all of our we really don't have that many horses. We've been sort of. This is another thing I'm doing is breeding horses for us, and yeah.
And they're just gone.
I say.
Someone
came by and thought it would be fun to just grab all our stuff, and this was the horses were well geared. Like, 2 of the horses had 90 quality horseshoes with 90 plus WA on them, so there's 8 horseshoes in total like that. And the other two were pretty bad. They were pretty good too. Not as good, but you know, decent.
In the end, we lost them. We still haven't recovered yet.
Yeah.
So watch out there. People can, for some reason, take animals off of your own property.
Right. I'm still trying to figure out how it worked, because permissions on Deed are set to not allow leading, to not allow killing animals, taming, so you can't do any of that. So even if, let's say, you were able to unhitch a wagon, I guess the only other thing I can think of is that they took the wagon off Deed, they got onto it, drove it somehow, and took it off Deed, and then brought it back, because the wagon's here still. Doesn't make sense to me. Somehow somebody got the horses. The horses are no longer there. The gear is gone.
We're not going to name any names, but
I don't know. I think
gear is apparently being sold on the forums.
Right. So I called it. The first thing that I said was, you know, we'll see somebody selling it on the forums. There's no doubt in my mind that that's going to happen. And then just yesterday, I see our horseshoes up on the one to sell thread, and you know, I make a comment on the thread saying, "Hey, I was wondering when my horseshoes would show up," and the guy was very defensive about it, saying, "Oh, no, there's no way these are your horseshoes. These are my horseshoes. I made them, blah, 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 blah." But, you know, because of the nature of the horseshoes, they're really high-level casts, and I knew the exact value of the WOAs, and maybe not the exact value of the qualities, but I knew the qualities, like, were 91 in and around. I imped them to 92, and they'd been worn out a bit. And I knew the WOAs exactly, and these were them. Like the exact values, and he kept going on about how they were his and he made them, blah blah blah. And subsequently, our conversation on his thread got taken down by the forum mods, so he wanted his thread cleaned up. Whatever, I understand that he wants to make money, so I sent him a forum PM, giving him the opportunity to come clean, just say, you know, yeah, I was the one who took them, and you know, I told him, you know, either return the horseshoes and the horse gear, the saddles as well, or I'm gonna, you know, taint your name, I guess. Spread the word.
Or spread the word that this is what you did.
This is what you did. This guy did this to us. He came to our deed somehow, not sure how, but took our horses, took our gear, and is now selling them. And maybe it is that our permissions aren't set correctly, but I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know what I need to change on the permissions to make it so that he stops, or that this stops. I can't see anything on the permissions that makes it so that he can take the horses off deed. Shouldn't be able to lead. He shouldn't be able to tame. He shouldn't be able to do any of that. Or kill.
Just be warned. And I know, and it's weird because we're here, we're at we're doing a community project that, people come and then they leave their animals and their wagons out, and now I'm scared for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly what to tell them, other than that there's somebody in the area taking animals or killing animals and taking the gear and possibly trying to take other things. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. He's probably snooping around the whole place, trying to take whatever he can.
You can't just make lots of fences and stuff like that, because we're in the process of building a labyrinth. So there's supposed to be rules against that. We're supposed to have the permissions in place. They don't seem to be working. There is a new permission system in the works. I believe we saw screenshots of it in one of the news posts a long time ago, maybe. I can't remember. I just know they were announced and then put on hold. But I don't know.
Yes, I'm glad somebody else brought this up. See, I know you're saying that we're not going to name any names, but I don't see any reason why we shouldn't.
Because?
Okay. The guy's forum name is Ant, and I got a forum PM from somebody else, some other guy, and he told me that on that same thread that our horseshoes are on, one of his friend's stuff is on there too that was stolen by this guy Brumahoff. Now Brumahoff is a known thief in our Wurm community. He was the guy who had that issue with gnome gates and his boats.
I don't know much about that. You can read.
I know the GM stepped in and fixed the problem. And Brumahoff went on to apologize to the Wurm community about his actions and blah, blah, blah. Some crap that he obviously didn't mean. Because apparently he's basically going around stealing from everybody, and anything that isn't bolted down he's trying to grab. And obviously it's within the mechanics of the game, so therefore it's within the rules of the game. But I know that, my feelings on this issue is that people like this shouldn't be allowed to play this. Like, shouldn't be part of this community. It's a sort of a poison in the neighborhood.
So what rules within the framework of freedom are people allowed to defend themselves against someone? I'm not saying him, but just someone that's wanting to do this.
So wait,
how can the Wurm community defend against these people that want to disturb like this? That's why they play. They want to disturb,
and
cause havoc.
Within the mechanics of the game right now, it's really hard because of the way the permissions are. It's very convoluted, very hard to tell what other people are able to do unless you spend the time and effort to sort of test it by making like alts and going around and trying your best to break into your own deed or whatever. It's the only way I can really sort of think to do it. And I know I've done that a little bit on Winter's Night, but I know that there's people out there who put a lot of thought into how can I circumvent the permissions or get around people's, permissions to get into their house. And I bet you they figured out all the little loopholes that are in the game and make it a point to find people who are vulnerable. Now, my feeling is that this new permissions system is going to be designed to sort of fix that, or at least make it easier to defend yourself against these problems. And I really hope that they get it right.
The permission systems has a lot of issues right now, and you can see it clearly when you go to your cart or your wagon, and one of the options is you want to allow friends to move it around. Okay, I want to allow a friend to board my cart, or to use my cart one day. I don't want to allow all my friends to do it, because that now makes it so I have to be extremely selective to who I just want to add to a friendly friends list so that they can see when I'm online or not.
Right.
But now I'm giving them permissions to everything that I own in this cart. And then, so it does need to be updated. So they are going to, obviously they announced that they will update it in a post that happened a long time ago. It was put on hold for bridges. So the question is, why was it put on hold for bridges? What is going on behind the scenes that's making bridges put everybody's attention towards that and no one's attention on permissions at all? And I believe the reason is because there's actually one person, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, there's one person who sort of was the brainchild behind bridges, is the same person who's the brainchild behind the permission system. That person can only focus on one thing at a time, right? Bridges is what she's focusing on. This person is I believe Titch, one of the volunteer developers. Brumahoff is looking for people like him to come join him at the deed just south of us. And I think it should be okay, like once we finish this deed, unless there's some serious bugs going on, it should just be a fun deed that people can come to and have some fun. They can't really cause problems to us. I am sort of feeling like maybe it taints the whole area, but players come, players go. Yeah. In an area, not a big deal. What am I doing here before I forget? I am opening up another portcullis. There we go.
Playing wall over here. Now, how did you make that portcullis? Is it finished or no?
Is that portcullis finished?
The portcullis there at the front needs some stuff. Is that right?
No, it's finished.
So you had the gate and the wheel.
You apparently don't need it.
Oh,
that's interesting, right?
Oh, I guess that's for if it's a gate. If it's like part of a wall, I suppose. Not part of a house.
All right. So here's the thing. Wife is asking if you submitted a support call to get a GM to look into it. Now, this takes us back to when we were living at Puzzle Plaza. After we created Puzzle Plaza, we were part of that whole thing, which is the marketplace on Delhi.
Yeah.
And we were living there, and someone came. There was like a bug at the time for the gate system. People can just walk through gates that were locked. We didn't know this. And at the time, Adam's thing was all, if I'm going to make a blacksmithing place, my blacksmithing place, I want it to be outside in nature, and I want to be able to see, the mountains and stuff. So his stuff was just surrounded by a gate, like fences, and all of his stuff was inside of a forge. And you ended up, somebody just walked through the gate that was locked and took all of your stuff.
Yeah.
So then we're like, okay, support ticket, support call, send in something, and then by the time we realized that anything was gone, like the second we realized that, we send a support ticket. And this is when we learned exactly how GMs, like the tools that they have. And the tools that they have is not sufficient to catch everybody.
Now the other thing is that we had another incident where somebody came in and stole a whole bunch of rare items off of Winter's Night, and this was like, in the end, I realized that it was my fault, and I think I mentioned this, that some of, like, the gates were unlocked, the cart was unlocked, and this is when I discovered that carts have a separate permission than the deed. So anything that is in a cart on your deed is pretty much fair game, unless the cart itself is locked and its permissions have been set. Okay, so deed permissions don't override cart permissions, which is, I don't know. To me, that sounds counterintuitive, but it was the first I heard of it, and I finally, I guess I realized that my error in my ways and whatever, and it turned out that the GMs couldn't do anything. In this case, I feel like the situation's the same. I do plan, actually, on submitting a support ticket. Just haven't got around to it yet. I thought that I could deal with this person before I realized who it actually was.
Anyway, this is why it doesn't work. And maybe I shouldn't bring it up.
Yeah, no, bring it up.
There are some simple things that people that steal stuff can do to get around the system, where GMs will have no idea, or GMs will not be able to punish them or do anything. I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat? Should I even bring this up, or is this just telling people this is what you should do if you want to steal? Because GMs can't do anything if you do this. So I learned all these tricks. You know, do this, and you're basically home free.
Like what?
Do you guys really want to know that, though?
I mean, how to get away with stuff?
Yeah, basically I'm going to be saying how to get away with stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So there are ways to get away with things.
Where GMs, if you do this, GMs will not be able to punish you.
I mean, I'm sure people have put a lot of thought into these sorts of things, and you know, the
GMs don't have the tools to counteract these simple things.
Right, I realized that the GM can really only do something if the person has clearly violated one of the rules, or have violated the mechanics of the game in some way that sort of shows that they've exploited the game somehow. But you know, as long as you're within the rules of the game, that you're following the mechanics, like doing something that the game allows you to do, then it seems like it's fair game. There have been some exceptions, like there was the situation where the same gentleman who ran off with our horseshoes, he did some messed up deal for some boats, I think. He basically took off with the boats and didn't pay for them. And so, I don't know exactly how the GMs dealt with it, but the GMs essentially made things right. The guy who got ripped off, he basically walked away happy about it. Not sure exactly what was done, but maybe he got refunded, or the guy who stole was forced to give the money back. I don't know. And somebody in our chat is saying that if it was that guy, they're handling his cases a lot different, and I wonder about that. Because again, I think that as long as he's doing something within the mechanics of the game that allows him to do it, then that's it. You know, there've been threads on the forums. Like, I saw this one thread. It was there for maybe an hour before it got taken down, but it was how to it was on the topic of how to be an effective thief in this game. Like one of the strategies was to go to deeds that are currently under construction, because people who are working on your deed are a little bit less careful about their items. There's not that many structures built to protect your items, and there's just stuff all over the place. And there's a lot of stuff that within the rule set of the game is pretty much fair game.
Here's something that we found, just so that you guys know, when we were building Autumn Twilight. And I don't know if this has been fixed or not at all. But when we were building Autumn Twilight, we found out that anyone, and I hate to say this if it's not fixed, anyone can go into your house on your deed and put a lock on any of your chests.
Yeah.
And just lock it and not let you touch it. Anyway, if you and who puts locks on their chests? Right? Because it would be annoying. You have to hold the key in order to
not your
unlock.
chest, but the BSB. Yeah.
And BSBs, yeah. BSBs and chests.
Yeah.
Can be locked. Imagine your BSBs getting locked inside of your own house. And the reason why it was such a big deal to us at the time is because Autumn Twilight was supposed to be an open concept castle for people to explore. So we want people to explore. So is the only way to protect yourself is to be as, I don't know, unfriendly as possible. Even on the Freedom server, even on the PvE server, just be as unfriendly as possible. Don't talk to anyone, don't be friendly. Then you'll protect your stuff. And I think that's probably why you hear us talking about how we keep losing things and people keep taking stuff from us, because it hasn't phased us enough to be unfriendly, to create structures or deeds that are completely closed concept that no one can come into. And I've had friends who have gotten so jaded that their whole deed surrounded by an entire giant fence, and that's surrounded by like houses, and like they just protect themselves, and you'll never be able to see their place. They lock it up so that no one can enter.
Yeah. And it's kind of sad, really. Like you're walking by a really nice looking deed and the whole thing is locked off. I'm gonna go get planks just for the second floor.
I just did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So now I have to. Oh, I thought you saw me going.
No.
Oh, pottery roofs. We forgot that. That's okay. We'll make
I
them
think
later.
the roofs are gonna have to wait for next time, because I don't think we have a slate either.
Yeah. Put thorn bushes around the whole like be as unfriendly as possible. That way you won't get stuff stolen. But I think
all of our deeds that we've been part of have been as open to the public as we can possibly make it.
Yeah.
We want people to walk everywhere that they can.
Oops.
Right.
And I think to our, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
sort of a fault.
We've been able, it's not even, I wouldn't even call it a fault. We've been able to stay open even after people have continuously stolen all of our good stuff.
Yeah.
But how many people can be like us?
Right. I know some people
and maybe that is a fault of the system. If there are problems that aren't being looked at all, that make it extremely easy for people to take your stuff, even if you follow all the rules. Or making it so you have to be as unfriendly as possible in order to follow the rules.
My hope is that this new permission system addresses these issues and makes it...
Do you feel like they have to do something in order for it to... Do you feel like the system is fine as it is? Or that they would have to do something?
Oh, no. The system that... you know, the system as it is not fine, obviously. There's too many incidences of theft. And if you just take a look at the forums, the number of forum threads regarding theft indicates how, you know, what's the word?
What do you guys think in the chat there? Do you feel that they should be looking into helping us out, in the sense that there should be a rework, not only of the rules, but maybe just in-game systems that could protect people, or that could provide a solution for the gamers to do? What do you think? Do you think the best solution is not to have forum rules or rules that are written down somewhere, but that are rules that the players themselves can be a part of? The players themselves have the tools necessary to take care of it. Now, everyone's probably there's at least going to be one person that's going to say, "Well, just go to just go to chaos. We'll take care of it, and the way we'll take care of it is we'll kill them over and over again. That's how we'll take care of them. We'll take back all the stuff." Okay, yeah, that's one solution. But how about if you don't want to be a part of that?
I love that. I like, just think about that solution as one that doesn't make sense, because what if you are on chaos? Okay, I'm on chaos. I build my deed. Somebody comes and takes stuff from me, and I'm like, "Jam you!" And I go after him and I try to kill him, and he kills me. What then? I bring a bunch of my friends. He has a bunch of his friends. They demolish us, and then what? Like,
that
great.
solved your problem.
Now there's a whole bunch of guys who can beat me, know that they can beat me, and now my entire place is completely vulnerable. Yeah, it doesn't always work out the way that it sounds like it should.
Yeah. I don't know. Should there be a justice system, an in-game justice system? Does that make sense? Do people want something like this? A political system in Wurm. What do you feel? I don't know how it could work.
Reminds me of you know, Basher. Do you remember Bashverse? Basher?
Yeah.
He built, or he created this you know, his place, and it was all role playing, of course, but they had sort of a justice system that was player contrived.
Yeah.
Where people who were caught stealing or that sort of thing were put on there was like some kind of like jury who decided the fate of this person. They would get kicked out of the place and all that sort of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I don't know. I don't know. I think there should be some cool, like, political government system that could take care of players that break the rules, or that
some kind of
the
consequence
players deem that is wrong.
Yeah, the
Some
problem
kind
is
of
that
consequence.
I can see that being exploited. You know, you get a group of people together to just do something negative to some person, even though they haven't done anything wrong.
I wonder if there could possibly be a rule or a system that could be in place that could stop people from doing that.
Yeah.
And there's the question that can't be answered. You can just think about it. What kind of system could be put in place that would allow us to deal with these sort of things? Maybe it would be easier just to fix all these little problems. You know,
Here's an
making
interesting
it so you
solution.
can't lock. Just fixing the permission system.
So I want to mention a suggestion. Taking over the signature codes to show ownership, so only the current signature player can change it.
You sign it over.
So you sign over the object. So you own the item, and that item is yours. And I guess like you couldn't use it unless it was yours or your signature, or that would be interesting.
And I think, okay, here's a line that I don't feel like anyone, or especially the developers or Rolf, know where to cross. Okay, we have known that players don't want PvP. There are just players that hear the word PvP and say, no, I don't want PvP in my game. So Rolf is sitting there, okay, you don't want PvP, so he finally said, okay, I'm not going to give you PvP. So I'm not going to give you any way to defend yourself, right? Just no PvP at all. So now you have these problems, like people are stealing, people are doing stuff, they're exploiting the system, right? They're doing things that probably shouldn't be allowed, but are allowed because there's no rule against it yet. It's like what was that guy called? And Sean Avery? Is that his name? No.
Baseball player?
The hockey player. Anybody know hockey? The Sean Avery example. I don't know, this is a bad example if no one knows hockey. There was no rule stating, if people out there know hockey, there's a goalie that's protecting the net. There's no rule to turn towards the goalie and move your stick around and sort of like block him. Be like, I can't see the puck, can't see the puck. Just doing this. Can't see the puck. There was no rule. So he did it. During a game, he just turned around and just like can't see it. And just because there was no rule doesn't mean that it was not wrong to do. So they created a rule just for that incident.
Yeah. And I think that they do that in some cases, some extreme cases. But I know that they've drawn the line. The devs or the GMs or whatever, they've decided, and they've drawn the line that as long as you have the permission through the game mechanic to take an item, then it's fair game. That's the line that they've drawn. So that means if some permission is set incorrectly, or there is some problem with the game mechanics that allows people to just come and lead your horses away, even though the lead permission is not on, let's say. And of course, this would be reported as a bug, but I guess as long as that person was able to do it, then through the mechanics of the game, then it's fair game.
Which is a weird rule to come to, I feel. Because something that we've known for a long time about this game is that just because it's in the game doesn't mean it's not a bug.
Yeah.
Even if it's in the game for, let's say, 2, 3, 4 years, doesn't mean that it's not a bug that's going to be fixed later. Doesn't mean that we didn't want you to be able to do that. So why put in a rule saying, okay, we didn't want you to do that, but because you could do that, we're allowing you to do that? That's what the rule says. But there are going to be things that can be done that we're going to deem is an exploit, and you can get banned for it. But the rule says you can do it because it's in the game and you can do it.
Yep.
Wait, but isn't that like a like what's going on here? Like we're just basically going around in circles. Does that mean there is no rule? Does that mean like what how do you justify this if you're a GM now? You're like, okay, I'm a GM. I was hired, volunteer to spend my time to solve these issues that I cannot solve because the rules are basically stating I can't solve this issue.
I think also part of the reason is because GMs were spending too much of their time dealing with these thefts, and sometimes it turned into a he said she said battle, and it to free up their time, because the GMs are all volunteers. Like they don't need to be dealing with being police for this game and spending all their time doing that, and I somewhat agree with that. GPS 51 saying that in olden times GMs didn't stand for theft and punish thieves, but I'm sure that took a lot of time and effort.
Right, by the way, okay, what are we doing here? I'll let you start them because I'm sort of out of it right now. But have you guys played Heaven and Hearth? Says Skeptic19. We have not. I believe I've heard of it, but I have not played it. Anyway, we don't have an answer. Essentially, we don't know what should be done, other than something should be done. Something needs to be done. Maybe it's easier just to fix all these little problems. There should be a list somewhere being like, oh, players can do this and players can do that. And then you think maybe they're not doing it because it somehow will screw up PvP, which is the topic that I brought up before. It's so much harder to fix things for PvE because it'll ruin things for PvP.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I just fear is going to happen, or is happening, and it's making it so we have to be hermits here on the PvE server, or just fear the consequences. And a lot of people do. A lot of people do fear the consequences, and they do become hermits. And maybe that's, do you believe that could be stifling the community? It might be, just a little bit. People might get a little jaded. People might have a little problem, and it just ruins the fun for everyone. Anyway, so with that said, let's talk about the next thing we were going to say, which is all of a few things that happen on the forums that we've noticed. Okay, news post comes out. They give us a few map dumps. Right? What did they give us this week?
What did they give us that was new this week?
No, like on the news.
Yeah.
This week.
What did they give us this week?
Yeah. What did we learn this week about Wurm? Okay, we
learned that bridges are coming.
Bridges are coming.
We learned that map dumps are here.
Map dumps are here.
Yeah. We've learned that there was a screenshot of the week.
There was a screenshot of the week.
Yeah.
Alright. Anyway, the week before, what did we learn?
We learned that bridges are coming.
Yeah.
That map dumps are here.
Yeah.
I think we learned that elevation. That one was there. Something about elevation.
Yeah.
We learned. Let's take a look. Just remember. Just make sure that I'm
how
not
about the week
missing
before
something.
that?
Yeah, the week before that, I'm pretty sure we learned that bridges are coming.
Yeah.
That map dumps were coming. That Epic was getting an overhaul.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the week before that we learned that bridges were coming as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, our big news here, I'm looking at week 12, which was, let's see, how many weeks ago? We're in week 18. So week 12, let's see the week. Okay. Bridges are coming. Elevations reset. Okay, treasure hunt. Yes, we got a treasure hunt.
There's a treasure hunt. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, let's see. Let's go back to week 10. Let's see. Week 10. Oh, Johan was still here during week 10. Bridges are coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Epic is being reworked. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. Oh, and some word about the new permissions that.
Okay, yeah, but we're basically saying since Johan basically got let go, and we got the new volunteer staff, we have learned for the amount of weeks that bridges are coming. Which is essentially what we already knew before.
Yeah. I think that these weekly updates have become quite stale, and probably because the devs are focused on bridges. But you know, it makes us wonder whether that's the only thing that the devs are doing right now for the past 8 weeks.
Is the only thing that everybody that's working on the game, paid and unpaid, is just basically focusing on bridges. I mean, and the graphic updates of the weapons.
Right, we've seen a couple of updates to the weapons, although they look really cool. They look really
Which
badass.
isn't being actually, I don't know if they're being put into the game or not. I guess they might be. But bridges for big things. And here's one of the an issue that I wanted to bring up. Like, other than that, the case is this the case that's all they're talking about? Is this the case that that's all they're doing? Now, this comes to the, I don't know, the question of, if this is all they're doing, is it good that this is all they're doing? Or if they are doing more...
I did an epic fail.
Anyway, as Adam corrects his epic fail. If they're doing more...
Yeah.
Should we know about it? Is it enough that they're doing more? Uh-oh. One character is being attacked.
Whose character? Your character?
No, the one outside here.
Oh, Zentil. Zentil, do you need to be saved?
Yes. Yes, you do. No.
Rescue.
Okay, I got it.
You got it? Okay. So I guess the question is, if there are other things being done in the background, should the Wurm community know about it?
Do you fear they're hiding anything, but do you feel like if they are doing something in the background, should we know about it?
Should we know about
it?
Right. Now, there's two sides to this. I think the first side is we've seen so many features that were announced that were never put into the game. Like, one that comes to mind are words showing up on signs, for example. And, I think that with so many of these situations going through, maybe it's a matter of, yes, there's something being worked on, but no, we're not going to tell anybody, just in case that the feature doesn't actually end up getting put into the game. But I think the other side is that it makes not saying anything makes the Wurm community feel like nothing is really being worked on. Like, so I know Bridges
giving us okay, we wanted news updates, right? That the Wurm community said we need communication, so they got somebody to communicate, and now they're doing it through volunteers, and we're getting communication. But is it enough that they're just communicating the same thing every week?
Right, like for 8 weeks in a row we get the same exact update. I don't know if that's, like, I mean, I personally
What do you
find it
guys
hard to
think?
believe that all employees, both volunteer employees and paid employees, that everybody is spending all their resources only on bridges. And like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they are spending all their resources only on bridges, um, and of course malls. But you know, I am sure that if there was other things going on, I feel like these news updates should reflect.
You would want to
that.
know about it.
That part of me wants to know
That
that
they should have developed a plan, or there should be a plan that's saying, okay, in order to keep the community, in order to make these news updates matter, we need to develop, okay, every week we need to unveil something and say, okay, we're working on this, we're working on this, we're working on this, but we won't mention these, right, until, let's say, the third or fourth week. I'm sorry. We will keep mentioning smaller things as we keep going so that something new gets announced, right?
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Which brings me to more, I think, a bigger question after I figure out what I'm doing here. So, slit the narrow wall. The narrow thing.
I made a big mistake. You don't happen to have a large mall on you, do you?
A large mall.
I might have to go search for one.
Uh-oh. I don't think I do.
Yeah, I think there might be one in somewhere. Unless that got stolen too.
It's quite possible. I don't think I have one. Okay, so here's one thing. We have, okay, as far as I know, and I brought this up, Titch, one of the volunteer developers, is the brainchild behind Bridges. She figured out how everything works, how things are going to be called, and it was a long process. She's been doing this for a long time. And she's the brainchild behind the permission system, getting all the permissions, input into the game, and changing that whole system up. She is a volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
There are paid developers working on Wurm who we don't quite know what they're doing. And they might be doing stuff keeping the game operational. I don't know what their job would be. But they're not working. They don't seem to be working on like the main features, or at least features that people or PvE players are wanting. I don't know. I don't know if PvP players are wanting Bridges. What could they have been doing? They could have been working on like the new maps. They could be working on the, getting all that stuff going. But as far as new features to the game, doesn't it feel like the way that it should work is that the paid guys, like, this is their idea, this is what they want to implement into the game for the PvE players, this is the direction and the vision that we have. The volunteer person, can you figure out a way for it to work? Or can you help me in this quest? What?
Like the volunteer people should be playing the supporting role, rather than what it seems to be is that the volunteer dev is pretty much leading up to major updates that everybody is not like all the power.
We don't know how it is exactly.
Like, this is awesome that we have her to lead up Bridges, and I'm sure she's being helped by the other devs, but I find it strange, and I think that this is a pattern that we've seen in Wurm before. Right? Who remembers Zakol?
I do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was a volunteer dev as well.
He was a nice guy.
yeah, I think everybody loved the additions that he brought. Oh, I made another mistake. I'm just not paying attention, so I'm going to stop. Everybody loved the additions that he brought to the game. I know. I just remember the main one, and that was multi-story. He was the guy who brought us multi-story, or at least did a lot of the coding for it, and he was the guy who headed up that project.
Yeah.
So you have multi-story, you have bridges, both major components of this game, and they're being developed by volunteer devs. I'm sure that the paid devs are working really hard at this game. I just feel that the transparency is lacking, and that we do see a lot of the transparency behind, at least nowadays, we see a lot of transparency behind what is being done with bridges, and we saw already some stuff on the permissions. We know both of those items are being worked on by Titch. And I don't think I've seen, since starting playing this game, any information about major game updates that were done by the main devs. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I don't know, it's a little bit strange. I'd like to see a little bit more transparency in that aspect.
About who's doing who?
About who's working
That's
on
wrong.
what?
About who's working on what? That makes more
Who's
sense,
doing
right?
who? Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I want to know. Who's doing who?
That makes sense. Anyway, well, let's forget I said that and move on to that Rolf had an interview that was posted.
Right.
That's right.
Yes.
What do you guys think of his interview? What was the thoughts on it? I want to hear people's opinions. I didn't really read it. That's why. Anyway, go.
Hey, like the interview was actually quite interesting to read. I'm glad that Rolf is doing these interviews. In fact, I think that's one of the main forms of advertisement that's going to bring people to the game. Is just see a lot more of that, like a lot more of that. If Rolf could do 100 interviews over the next few months, that would be, but obviously he can't do that. But the more he speaks about the game, the more I feel better about the long-term longevity of this game, I guess.
So what are the fine points? What did everyone get from it? What are the things that you remember from this interview? Anybody in the chat or anybody?
Yeah. What are your favorite parts about this? Yeah. I think that the interview was being done by somebody who has no idea about this game. I think that a lot of the interview centered around explaining this game and how it differs from other games, which is good because it's good advertisement for the game. But the big thing that I think everybody was focusing on was the last question. The question read, what does the future hold for Wurm Online? How do you intend to develop and promote the game in the future? Are you planning to enter Steam? Are there any plans for creating other titles? To which Rolf replies, we are currently finalizing the code for constructing bridges, which, again, we all know, which has been a very long project. After that, and this is where my ears start perking up, because I'm like, wow, there's maybe some news that we can get that isn't in any of the news updates. After that, we will start adding more general content, such as decorative items. Can't have enough of those. Those are awesome. It's various animations, good, and monsters. Need animations. Sorry?
We do need animations.
We do need animations. It's still not complete. Monsters. Not sure if we need any more monsters. Added all those sea creatures. I don't know, maybe. Maybe some work on the uniques, I guess, is something that can be done. What else here? and fixing some long-standing bugs. That's very good to hear that's on that list. Yeah,
it's good
so can't wait
and
for
sort
that
of
stuff.
scary at the same time.
Yeah, a little bit. So doing that, and he says, working on some long-standing bugs while we think of what the next major step should be.
So we get that there's no plan.
Yeah, that's.
I think we know this from like the interviews that he's done in the past and things. Like it's just sort of whatever.
Yeah,
we will figure it out when we get there.
When the time comes, yeah. Which is not so bad. It sort of leaves it open. I know that. See, the thing is that up to this point, multi-story and bridges have been a goal forever. Like, I don't know if you ever read those little startup little messages that come like when the loading screen for the game, there's like a little quote or something. I saw one quote that said, Rolf say, "Bridges will be in by the end of the year," quoted by Rolf in 2006 or something like that. Like shaking my head at that. So yeah, like I know, so like the fact that when that gets finished, bridges are in, multi-stories in, it seems like all the major goals for this game from the very beginning are now finished, and it becomes a matter of trying to figure out what to do next.
Yeah, which means, say your things now. Tell Rolf what you want him to do next, and maybe that will be, if it's a good enough suggestion, that will be what he'll choose. What would you choose, Adam?
I haven't given much thought. Maybe that'll be a topic for next week.
It would have to be like one small thing. Not small thing, one big thing, but just one. You can't just be like, I want him to fix the game, or I want him to fix, I want him to add, completely overhaul this entire system. Like, I don't think they're going to, it's like bridges, not bridges and stairs. Like that can't be together. That's too much. Just bridges. So if you had a choice and you could choose one thing, what would it be that they focus on? We'll think about.
I might have a better answer next week, but one thing that could be worked on, and I don't know how it would be, but I'd like to see flowing water in this game.
Flowing water.
Oh yeah, I changed my mind. I figured it out. This is what I want to see. Building structures in mines.
Building structures in mines.
Yes.
So there's Adam's suggestion.
I don't think I
building
can get
structures.
The whole mine. The whole mine
is what they should work on.
Like
too much.
I always
you're going
imagine
too big.
walking down a mine corridor and just having like doors down there that are locked. Like I know that this door leads to like a room back there, but it's locked or something, or even just doors that allow you into like little cavernous areas. It doesn't have to be buildings per se. I don't know if maybe buildings, but I don't think that I need buildings. Just like walls, like gates and fences and walls that sort of close off areas. That would do wonders for this labyrinth, by the way. I think it would change our whole strategy. But besides that, just having networks of mines underneath the ground, and I'm sure that would have implications for PvP, of course, but maybe not so bad ones. So many bad ones.
Well, there's Adam's suggestion. Building inside of mines. And I don't know, what are you guys' suggestions in there in the chat and everyone on YouTube and the forums? I don't know, they could do anything. Maybe your suggestion will be the one they choose, or maybe it'll be Adam's suggestion. Or maybe we'll think of something else next week. I definitely have to think about it.
What about your deed level idea?
I would have to think about it. If
Leveling
that's what I want them to do. I'm not sure. that might be a little bit too much of an undertaking. I don't know. What do you think of a Kraken as a unique?
Adding more uniques.
That would be interesting if they changed, I don't know, the way water works a bit. I don't know. It's possible, but wouldn't you want to be able to fight on a boat? We don't really have seafare yet.
Yeah.
So
one other thing that he mentioned in the interview, the last thing he says is, we are considering some sort of Steam release, which has everybody up in arms again. The whole Steam debate.
Yeah. Whether that's good or not, only time will tell.
What do you think about a Steam release? What do you think?
I think that if they did that, they would have to be very, very smart about it. Whether they are very, very smart about it, I don't know.
One person suggested if you're going to do a Steam release, open it up to exclusive servers. Like, do a whole new separate server sort of thing, like they did with Pristine and Release.
Would that
just
work?
Have people go in there. I mean, like, it would keep things separate.
The Steam servers.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that you'll have, well, there's twofold problem. The first one is that at the beginning you might get this massive rush of newbies who tear up the whole place, like they did on.
Would you care if they, let's say they opened up, throwing a number out here, 3 new servers, and each one you could only go to if you start on Steam, and you could only go to those servers. Like, if you start on Steam, you have 3 servers to choose from. That's it, or the PvP ones. If I don't know if PvP.
The problem is that you're going to get all those veteran players running over there and starting to like own the economy over there again. I mean, you can say who cares. Like, people are gonna just look at that as the opportunity. The same thing happened with Release and Pristine, where just a ton of like veteran players went over there and completely dominated the market. Which, yeah, maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe it's revenue for the game, which is good.
Yeah, we don't know whether that's good or bad. I don't know. Was it good that which servers were completely not connected in a way, or would you rather have them connected? I wouldn't mind seeing something.
I wouldn't mind seeing something like they did with Release and Pristine, where they keep them disconnected for a while until things caught up, and then connect them after. As long as there's a massive influx of players that could support new servers. There's no point in opening new servers if you don't have that influx.
I think overall, a Steam release, if done right, would be very good for Wurm. And only if it's not only done right, but then handled correctly afterwards. So maintained properly afterwards. And had a plan to expand and allow Wurm to grow, right? Because that's the whole thing, right, that we want. We want not only more players to play, but to have more players play with the assumption that we then have Wurm growing at a faster pace.
There needs to be some vision for what Wurm is going to look like when the population quadruples.
Listen, it's quite possible that they just go, okay, Wurm is getting more players now that Steam's there. Maintenance mode. Let's just do what we've been doing, and I'll just pocket the money.
Yeah.
And we just say everything's good. We're going strong on Wurm. We're making enough money, and we're gonna keep adding stuff in the same passionate way that we've been doing this entire time. And then all the veterans go,
so long as they keep adding decorative items, I think that as like these are things that people can see on a daily basis. Like every month,
more than decorative items. They need new professions. They need more.
Yeah, that stuff too. But I think that decorative items are big enough that like they'll keep people occupied as long as there's a bunch of new ones every month. Let's say.
they still need to solve that one problem of keeping people in the game long term. And we've talked about it before, but won't talk about it this week. We have the best comment here. Should they work on next? Capes. That's what they should work on next.
Yeah,
right?
capes.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Capes for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna go with
Absolutely.
that. We're a factional fight, and we approve capes
And
Anyway.
shoulder slots. Yes, I see.
and
that, yeah.
shoulder slots. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Take care, everyone.